Circular Creative Companions is the third workshop that the Colomboscope team is leading, this time in partnership with the British Council. It's a continuation of our efforts towards peer-to-peer exchange, thinking in an environmentally conscious, holistic manner in a rather small creative community. What we've come to understand is that a lot of the learning and practical guidance that is so essential to creative makers in the scene, whether they're architects, designers or artists from across the island coming together, it really feels that the kind of learning outside of academies within such nourishing, rich environments, lush environments of the island is really where we can ground ourselves in a way that is open, that is reciprocal, that actually responds to the kind of political and economic limitations and restrictions, challenges of the island. And so those are the elements that also really inspire us to keep doing this work between festival editions. So here we're thinking really holistically, and what we want is that the outcome is also enduring, and we're going to be creating an exhibition unit, a modular, innovative exhibition unit that thinks about climate and sustainable principles, and that will be displayed at the next Colomboscope, which will be happening in January 2026.
The workshop series that we have is a 4-day intensive workshop which looks at how we can tackle putting into practice an art practice or a creative design practice along with efficiency and mindful conscious use of sustainable practices in production, exhibition display, shipping and logistics, and using industry experts and localized methods in trying to tackle and teach a newer generation of practitioners, be it artists, designers, architects, interior designers. For this 4-day workshop, we looked at an open call that invited young designers and practitioners from around the country, and we went through a rigorous process of selection where we got 10 really interesting participants who are now part of this workshop.
My personal practice is quite interested in how things come together and how stories are told. So when Colomboscope approached me to ask me to be a part of the Circular Creative Companions program, it was a kind of no-brainer for me because it kind of fitted into the kind of work that we enjoy doing as a team. So many people that come together to make things work, from the curators developing the prospectus to an exhibition designing something, and then people in production making things. It was very nice to go through this whole process with Natasha, bring in global perspectives, but also focus it on the global south because that's the areas that we work in, and then to share my work with a mixed group of people, from architects to designers to photographers, people just interested in production. That was great.
இதில் வந்து நாளுக்கு நாள் ஒவ்வொரு நாளுமே ஒரு புதிய விஷயங்களை கற்றுக்கொள்கிறதுக்கு இவங்க ஏற்பாடு செஞ்சுருந்த ஆர்டிஸ்ட்டுகள், கண்டெம்பரரியில் ஒர்க் பண்ணுற ஆர்டிஸ்ட்டு, அதோட ஆர்கிடெக்ட், அவங்களோட டோக்குகள், டிஸ்கஷனூடாக சில விஷயங்கள், புதிய விஷயங்கள், புதிய எதிர்பார்ப்புகள், புதிய கண்டுபிடிப்புகள், அதாவது எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸுகளை எடுத்துக்கொள்ளக்கூடியதாக இருந்தது. இது வந்து எதிர்காலத்தில் ஒரு ஆர்ட் ஒர்க்கை புதுசாக படைக்கிறதுக்கு, ஒரு ஆர்ட் ஒர்க்கை உருவாக்குறதுக்கு யூஸ் ஆகிருக்கும்.
The workshop that we did today, it's about linking the process of work in production to an artist or somebody who's interested in doing an end product. When you go into a museum or like a gallery setting, it's the background work that we do, which is not that highlighted, but giving exposure to that in this workshop, where they learned about what kind of tools are there, what kind of limitations are there, how do you work with limitations, and how do you kind of overcome these problems along the way. When you see tools and equipment that they've never seen or had access to, and them seeing what are the possibilities out of these equipment, or at least knowing that there's something like this to do this task, was very encouraging to me as well, because something that's it's very nice to see when people see things that are not there before.
I always thought sustainability and being conscious about ecology was using reusable materials mainly, but then I understood that there are other ways where we can be sustainable and be more conscious, not just by recycling but by reusing and upcycling things as well, to think in other perspectives, not just in architect's point of view, and to work with researchers.
ඇත්තටම අපි ආටිස්ට්ලාට අවශ්‍ය කරන දේවල් ටික කරන. කියන්නේ මොඩලින් හරි, මෝල්ඩින් හරි, පැකින් හරි, කැන්වස් ස්ට්‍රෙචින්, ඊට පස්සේ ඒකට ට්‍රාන්ස්පෝර්ට් කරන එක, එතකොට පැකේජ් එකක් එක්ස්පෝර්ට් කරන බොක්සස් හදන එකේ ඉඳන් කියන ආර්ට් එකක් ආටිස්ට් හිතන තැන ඉඳන් එක ප්‍රදර්ශනය දක්වා ආර්ට් හැංගින් කරන එක, එක්සිබිෂන් arrange කරන එක, ඩිස්ටෝල් කරන එක, ඩිස්ප්ලේ කරන හැටි, ඒ ඔක්කොම ආටිස්ට් එක කතා කරලා ඒක ප්ලෑන් කරලා කොහොමද කරන්න කියලා තමයි අපි ඇත්තට මූලිකව කරන්නේ.
ප්‍රොඩක්ෂන් එකක් හරි ඉන්ස්ටලේෂන් එකක් වෙලාවේ ගොඩක් වෙලාවට හිතනවා මේ අපි පාවිච්චි කරන මැටීරියල් එකක් කොහොමද ආයිත් ඊළඟ ෂෝ එකක අපි යූස් කරන්නේ කොහොමද කියන එක. ඊට පස්සේ සෑහෙන වෙලාවට කොස්ට් එක කොහොමද අඩු කරගන්නේ කියන එක ගැන සෑහෙන ඩිස්කස් කරනවා. මෙතන අපි කැමතිම ඇවිල්ලා මේ වගේ කට්ටිය ඇවිල්ලා වැඩ කරන එකට. අපි හැමතිස්සෙම කට්ටියට කියන්නේ මේ ස්පේස් එක යූස් කරගන්න. තියෙන ටූල්ස් ටික මේ දැනුම යූස් කරගන්න කියන එක.
අද අපිටත් අලුත් එක්ස්පීරියන්ස් එකක් හම්බුණා ඒ කට්ටියත් එක්ක වැඩ කරලා කොහොමද මේක වර්ක්ෂොප් එකක් විදියට යන්නේ කියලා.
Primarily, what this workshop has really helped me with is storytelling and narrative. And I felt like all the speakers who came, every workshop we had, everyone had such a strong narrative about their work and a lot of passion as well. So I think building that narrative or how to convey my story out there is something that I definitely would like to learn more, but learned a lot from in this workshop, as well as really good connections and interesting different people that I've met.
Today in my session I talked about how the climate is impacting women in the northern province. I was looking at 4 different industries, so women who sell dried fish, women who work in salterns, women who manufacture, produce cashew, and women who are selling seaweed, and speaking to participants about how heat impacts women differently, physiologically, also how they're impacted because of the dual burden of care that is imposed on them. Although I approached focusing on the climate from a political economy perspective, and that was my initial entry, it's so important for creatives and visual thinkers to be able to start representing issues faced by communities when dealing with climate change and environmental issues, because so much of the high-level research is undeveloped, and it's only through first-hand stories that we can really begin to understand how people are being impacted.